Have you ever awakened in the deepest part of the night with that strange feeling that your life should be something else? That there is something greater waiting for you, but no one around you can see it? That every time you try to move forward, an invisible force seems to pull you back? This isn't weakness, it isn't a lack of faith, it isn't bad luck. It is the clearest sign that you have been chosen by God for something that goes beyond what you can see right now. In this video, I will show you the 7 unmistakable signs that you are one of God's most favored chosen ones, especially around March 26th and 27th, a spiritual window that few recognize. Stay until the end, because the 7th sign is the most powerful and the least spoken about anywhere. If at any point you recognize yourself in these descriptions, leave a comment below with the word chosen. I want to know how many people are walking through this same journey. Before we enter into the signs, I need to ask you a direct question. How many times in your life have you felt out of place, at a family gathering, at work, with your friends, a silent but persistent sensation that you didn't fully belong in that environment, as if you were watching everything from outside, seeing what others couldn't see? If this describes you, pay close attention, because this feeling isn't a psychological problem, it isn't a superiority complex or unresolved introversion. It is the first indication that you carry a spiritual mark that very few people possess. God's chosen ones rarely fit in, and there is a profound reason for this. When God sets someone apart for a greater purpose, he initiates a process of differentiation. It's like a musical instrument being tuned while all the others are still in the warehouse. The tuning process isn't comfortable. It creates tension, pressure, temporary isolation. But it is absolutely necessary so that the instrument produces the right note at the right time. You might be exactly in that process right now. And March 26th and 27th represent an acceleration window for this process. In various spiritual traditions and studies of sacred numerology, specific dates of the year function as portals of attention. You need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Zuru readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment. Information. Moments when the veil between the spiritual and material planes becomes thinner, where confirmations arrive with more clarity and the decisions made carry a different weight. It isn't magic, it is alignment. It is the kind of awareness the chosen ones develop naturally along the journey. Now let's go to the signs. Sign 1. Your life oscillates between intense light and deep shadows. Have you noticed that your life has no middle ground? Either things are going very well, full of grace, positive coincidences, doors opening, inner peace, or they are in a cycle of intense pressure, everything collapsing at once, crises arriving in series. This oscillation isn't random. There is a spiritual law few speak about clearly. The greater the level of purpose you carry, the greater the amplitude of oscillations you will experience in life. This is because each new level of calling requires a greater capacity for emotional, spiritual, and psychological sustenance. Think with me. A person called to impact dozens of people needs a certain level of maturity. But a person called to impact thousands needs a completely different foundation. And foundations aren't built on sunny days. They are built in storms. Each period of shadow in your life was a phase of structural construction. Each crisis you survived installed in you a layer of resilience that no self-help book can give you. You learned things about God, about yourself, and about human nature that can only be learned in pain. In the United States, research conducted in 2023 by Pew Research Center showed that more than 60% of Americans over 35 report having gone through at least one period of profound existential crisis in the last 5 years. But what differentiates those who emerge from these crises, transformed from those who simply survive them? Exactly this: the recognition that the crisis has a purpose. The chosen ones don't come out of crises the same. They come out different, more profound, more solid, more clear about who they are and where they are going. But there's something rarely said about this oscillation. It is a test of identity. When the phase of light arrives, the test is not to cling to it as if it were permanent. And when the phase of shadow arrives, the test is not to believe it defines who you are. The chosen ones, who learn to traverse both extremes without losing the thread of who they are, these are the ones who arrive on the other side with a spiritual maturity that transforms everything around them. There's a story that happens often here in America that illustrates this perfectly. Think of that entrepreneur who built a business from scratch, lost everything in a downturn, went back to renting, carried the weight of the family on their shoulders, and a few years later rebuilt everything on an incomparably greater level. When you talk to these people, they tell you the same thing. The fall was the best thing that happened to me. I needed to lose that to understand what truly mattered. That isn't cheap philosophy. It is spiritual wisdom confirmed by real-life experience. If you're in a shadow phase now, listen carefully. This isn't punishment, it is preparation. And the light that comes after a shadow like that isn't a flashlight, it is a spotlight. Sign 2. People and situations leave your life without a clear explanation. This is one of the signs that hurts the most, and also one of the most misunderstood. Have you lived through that situation where a friendship of years simply cooled? Without a fight, without a discussion, without a concrete reason to justify it. The messages became more spaced out, the meetups disappeared, and one day you realized that person simply wasn't part of your life anymore. Or that job opportunity, that relationship, that situation that seemed perfect on paper and simply didn't work out, as if an invisible force had blocked the path. The natural reaction is to question, what did I do wrong? What is wrong with me? But what if I told you the right question isn't what you did wrong, but where God is directing you? There's a fundamental difference between abandonment and divine filtering. Abandonment is a loss without purpose. Divine filtering is a surgical removal. It is God, with the precision of a surgeon, removing what occupied space in your path but didn't contribute to your destiny. Think of the people who left your life in the last 2-3 years. Now answer honestly, would any of them, if still present, have prevented you from growing where you grew? Would any of them have pulled you back into a smaller version of yourself? Almost always, the answer is yes. The chosen ones go through rounds of divine filtering with greater frequency than ordinary people because the mission they carry demands a specific environment. Not everyone can walk beside someone called to alter realities. A level of spiritual maturity, commitment to truth, and capacity to sustain pressure is required that not everyone possesses. And here's the detail few talk about. Sometimes divine filtering removes people you love deeply. People who aren't bad, people who have genuine qualities, but who simply aren't part of the next chapter of your story. And that is the most painful part, because there's no villain to blame. There's only the reality that not everyone who was important in one chapter of your life was written for the next. This doesn't diminish the value of what was lived. It means only that the purpose of that relationship was fulfilled, and now the space is being opened for what comes next. So when someone leaves your life without an apparent explanation, instead of asking yourself what you did wrong, try asking, what is being prepared to enter the place? Because the emptiness someone's departure creates isn't permanent. It is space being opened. Sign 3. You possess a spiritual restlessness that never quiets. You can't be satisfied with superficial answers. When someone tells you that's just how it is, or you don't need to think so much about it, something inside you refuses to accept it. You are drawn to depth, to meaning, to truths that go beyond the obvious. While most people you know seek entertainment, comfort, and routine, you are consumed by questions that don't leave you in peace. Why am I here? What is the purpose of my life? Is there something beyond what I can see? This restlessness is often treated as a problem. Your family says you think too much. Your friends say you complicate things. The system pushes you to stop questioning and simply fit in. But this restlessness isn't a factory defect. It is your soul's GPS. When an instrument is programmed to find a specific destination, it doesn't stop working until it arrives. It keeps recalculating, searching, pointing directions. The restlessness you feel is that instrument working perfectly. It is telling you that you haven't yet arrived where you were called to arrive. Science calls this high need for cognition, which is the natural tendency of some people to seek complex information and think deeply about existential questions. Studies from the University of Michigan show that individuals with a high need for cognition have a greater propensity for transformative spiritual experiences and finding life purpose in adverse situations. In spiritual terms, this is what scriptures describe as the thirst of the soul. As the deer pants for streams of water, so my soul pants for you, O God. This thirst isn't weakness, it is vocation. And there's one more aspect of this restlessness that needs to be said. It isn't just about abstract spirituality. It also manifests as dissatisfaction with injustice, with superficiality, with collective conformity. The chosen one feels in their body when something is wrong in the world around them, even when everyone else seems indifferent. This moral sensitivity is part of the calling, because whoever is designated to impact the world must be incapable of ignoring what needs to be transformed. The chosen ones rarely satisfy themselves with the level where they are, and that isn't arrogance. It is the call pulling them upward, forward, into more depth. If you recognized yourself in this sign, you need to understand. Your restlessness is sacred. Don't try to silence it. Learn to listen to it. Now let's continue. Sign 4. You see what others cannot see. How many times have you felt that something was off in a situation, even without any concrete evidence? You've met someone with a perfect smile and kind words, yet something inside you signaled caution. You've walked into an environment that seemed normal to everyone else, but you felt a weight, an invisible tension. This discernment isn't paranoia. It isn't disguised anxiety. It is a spiritual radar developed within you for a specific reason. The chosen ones must navigate a world of appearances. Their mission demands that they see beyond the surface, that they identify the true within the false, that they perceive what is hidden beneath layers of illusion. If they were easily deceived, the mission would be compromised. Therefore, God develops in the chosen a spiritual sensitivity that goes beyond the 5 common senses. This sensitivity manifests in different ways in different people. Some feel it through the body, a physical tension when something is wrong. Others perceive it through vivid and recurring dreams. Others still develop an almost analytical ability to read people and situations with disconcerting accuracy. In the American context, this is often woven into the fabric of spiritual intuition. The American spiritual landscape is deeply personal and intuitive. Pew Research studies show that a vast majority of Americans believe in God and report having at least one significant spiritual experience in their lives. The nation has a fertile ground for spiritual awakening precisely because many have never completely lost contact with the invisible dimension of existence. But this discernment carries a cost. Those who see what others do not often walk alone, because when you warn about something and everyone around dismisses it, when you discern a hidden intention and are called suspicious, when you perceive a danger that only becomes visible to others later, loneliness settles in. This loneliness isn't rejection, it is the mark of one called to be a beacon, not an echo. It is also important to understand that this discernment must be cultivated with responsibility. The chosen one who develops this spiritual radar but does not develop humility and love alongside it risks becoming critical, judgmental, distant. The discernment given by God isn't for condemnation. It is for protection, for guidance, for illuminating the path, both yours and that of those walking beside you. Sign 5. You face an intense spiritual warfare. Pay close attention to this sign because it is what most confuses the chosen ones and makes many give up. Have you noticed that every time you're about to make a significant leap, an obstacle arises from nowhere? That when you begin to approach a spiritual breakthrough, a life turnaround, a decision that will change everything, it is exactly when the greatest difficulties appear. It is not coincidence. There is a spiritual logic in this dynamic that is profoundly biblical and profoundly real. The greatest blessings attract the greatest resistance. The higher the calling, the more intense the attack. Think of Joseph in the book of Genesis. Called to save an entire nation, he was first betrayed by his own brothers, sold as a slave, falsely accused, and imprisoned. Each phase of the resistance seemed like the end, but each phase was, in truth, a stage of preparation for the greatness that was coming. Modern chosen ones go through contemporary versions of the same journey. The betrayals come from close people. The accusations arrive without foundation. The crises seem to multiply exactly when you were breathing a sigh of relief. And the temptation is to interpret all this as a sign that you missed the path, that you weren't called for anything, that you are deluded. But the spiritual logic says the opposite. You are only attacked when you represent a real threat. No one spends energy trying to knock down what has no value. The intensity of the spiritual warfare you face is proportional to the size of the impact your light can cause when fully lit. The adversary knows what you still do not know about yourself, and so he works to keep you small, distracted, doubting, tired, because a chosen one who discovers their true identity is practically impossible to stop. And here is a strategy that spiritual warfare uses more frequently than any other: weariness. Not physical tiredness, but weariness of the soul. That feeling that you have fought too much, tried too much, prayed too much, and that perhaps it isn't worth continuing. This weariness doesn't arrive in moments when you are far from your purpose. It arrives exactly when you are closest to an important breakthrough. It is the last effort of the adversary to make you stop before the turnaround. If you are feeling this weariness now, that is a sign of alert and also of hope. Alert because you need to protect yourself. Hope because it means you are close to something worth defending. So when the warfare intensifies, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What is trying to prevent me from arriving?" The answer will tell you much about the greatness waiting for you on the other side. Sign 6. You are going through a spiritual awakening that unsettles everything. This sign is the most frightening because it doesn't look like a gift. It looks like a crisis. The spiritual awakening of the chosen ones almost never begins with lightness and illumination. It begins with the feeling that the ground is disappearing. Relationships that seemed solid begin to crack. Beliefs you carried since childhood no longer make sense. The identity you built over decades based on what your family expected of you, on what society defined as success, on what you yourself convinced yourself you were, begins to dissolve. And that is terrifying. In American culture, we have a common phrase that captures this well: coming out of your shell. But anyone who has come out of a shell knows the process isn't pretty. It is uncomfortable, vulnerable, frightening. The caterpillar doesn't transform into a butterfly at a picnic. It dissolves completely inside the chrysalis, a biological process of complete destruction before total reconstruction. The spiritual awakening of the chosen ones works exactly like this. God doesn't remodel, He recreates. He doesn't patch the false layers of your identity. He removes them one by one, sometimes painfully, to reveal who you truly are underneath everything built by fear, by others' expectations, by unhealed wounds. During this process, isolation is almost inevitable, because your new worldview isn't shared by the people around you. You begin to speak a different language, to see a reality they still do not see. And this creates a distance that feels like loneliness, but is actually differentiation. Psychologists call it cognitive dissonance, the discomfort of holding two contradictory realities at the same time. The reality of what you were and the reality of what you are becoming. The chosen ones live in this dissonance during awakening, and the discomfort is exactly what guarantees the transformation is real and not superficial. There is also an aspect of this awakening that very few people talk about: the renegotiation with God. During the process of dissolving the old identity, many chosen ones go through a phase of spiritual anger, a phase of deep questioning of, why are you doing this to me? A feeling that God is distant precisely when the need is greatest. This moment isn't a lack of faith. It is faith at a level too deep for simple answers. It is the kind of conversation that only happens between those who have a real, not performative, relationship with the divine. Do not fear bringing your anger, your confusion, and your questions to God. He isn't fragile. He can handle it. And often, it is exactly in this honest, raw conversation that the greatest clarity of the calling reveals itself. If you are in this process now, I need to tell you something important. What is crumbling is not your life. It is the version of you that was too small for the calling you carry. Let it crumble. What God is building in its place is incomparably greater. Sign 7. Attention. You need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life. A guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you, and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10 Zuru readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who are tired of living in the fog. Ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.